Well, good morning, friends, and welcome to my channel. I am Crystal, and this is Homemaking on the Homestead. And I've been working on things. I'm going to show you in a minute what I got going on in my kitchen. I was getting ready to film this video and to sit down and just have a little coffee with Crystal and a chat with you. And all of a sudden, my grandkids erupted, my daughter's calling me, and my youngest grandson swallowed a penny. So we had, we called 911 and got the EMS up here. By that time, since he was crying and he was obviously not choking and coughing, they basically told her that, she could take him to the doctor, they could take him in, or just wait a day or two and see if it moves on through. And so at this point, all the adrenaline rush and all that excitement is over, and I can actually sit down and talk. She decided to wait it out just another day or so and see, unless she sees something else that causes her to be concerned. She pretty much feels like it probably just moved through. The biggest thing we were concerned about is whether he could breathe, or if it was still in his throat, is it going to get lodged or something like that. But it looks like we're past that kind of a concern. So, okay, now I'm going to show you what I got going on in the kitchen. Well, let's see here. In this bowl, I have pizza dough rising. I got that going this morning, and before all the excitement happened. And so that's almost ready to punch down and use. I'm still working on that freezer challenge. So I had that much cheese left in a bag in the freezer. So I pulled that out. That won't be enough for our pizza, but I pulled out this second bag that hasn't been opened yet. Also, I buy pepperoni in great big bags at Costco, and then I separate them into smaller Ziploc bags and then pull them out, put them in the freezer and pull them out as needed. I also buy the 3-pound packages of Jimmy Dean sausage from Costco. I cook it all up at once, divide it into 3 packages. If you didn't use a whole pound, you could easily just divide it into 6 and have half a pound, which I may do next time, because I won't use all this, but I will use whatever is left over for dinner, probably our next dinner, either tomorrow night or the next night. And so I'll show you what I do with that. I'm going to make the sauce out of a can of diced tomatoes. This is 1 tablespoon of tomato paste that I had in the freezer. I actually have a Ziploc bag full of it. If I open a can of tomato paste and only need maybe a tablespoon, I take the rest of it and lay it out in 1 tablespoon bits and flash freeze it, and then put it back into the freezer so that if I have another recipe that only needs 1 tablespoon, I've got it all ready to go and I don't waste the rest of it. For the rest of the pizza, of course, I'm going to use some olives there. I've got a couple mushrooms I bought and paid a lot for these green onions. So we're going to put those on the pizza this time. I have some mini sweet peppers, so that's what I'm going to top this pizza with tonight. So pretty soon I got to roll out that pizza dough and get working on that pizza for tonight. And definitely after this morning, I was like, I definitely need a cup of coffee and a nice little chat. So here we are. So how are you guys doing? That is one thing I would like to know. Hopefully you haven't had any excitement like I just did, and life is smooth going. I was doing my little morning routine this morning and got myself, had my quiet time, got dressed, folded some laundry, and thought, I should probably clean the bathtub. And I went to grab my little container of homemade bathtub cleaner that I absolutely love, and it's almost out, and I need to make some more before I do that. So that's when I thought, hey, that's something I want to talk to you guys about. So how many of you make your own cleaners? Do you do homemade cleaners? Do you buy all your cleaners? Do you do maybe half and half or something like that? I just thought that would be an interesting topic. So years ago, when I had my website, The Family Homestead, I really got into making homemade cleaners. It was about the same time I was making homemade laundry soap, and I was doing all those things. And boy, I tell you, I made all kinds of all-purpose cleaners. I made all kinds of, tried scrubbing things, and, just spent a lot of time. I had an entire web page full of recipes. and I was really into that. And, you know, for a lot of them, they worked pretty well. Some of them I wasn't terribly impressed with. Of course, over time, I have a whole video on why I don't make homemade laundry soap anymore, because I found that caused way too many problems with my laundry, so I quit doing that. But and I also discovered that it seemed like it took a lot of my time to be mixing up little potions of all-purpose cleaners and this type of cleaner and that type of cleaner. But I still like the idea of homemade cleaners, or trying to use as few items as possible. I also remember a time when a couple of my daughters were doing a house cleaning job for a family in our church, and they would go every week to clean the house, and the lady had like an entire cupboard full of every possible cleaner that you could imagine from the grocery store. And, you know, we're always looking for that one thing that is just going to be amazing, just so we don't have to spend so much time scrubbing and doing the things that we do to clean. And I didn't want to spend money that way, because I'm always very frugal, especially more then. When I was raising 8 kids, I had to be super frugal, and I just felt like, what is the balance between having homemade cleaners and spending all that time, and store-bought cleaners, which are spending a lot of money? Is there some middle ground that we can find that is just simple? And I feel like today I have actually come up with that middle ground. So I just thought I would quickly share with you what I do that I make myself, and what I do that I buy. And yeah, just show you what I do, and I'm going to be interested to hear what do you guys do. Okay, so for starters, my main ingredients that I use to clean with a lot of pretty much everything these are like the top ones. It's vinegar. Vinegar is a great cleaner. It's a great disinfectant, and baking soda. So I can do a lot with just those two things. But this goes to the store-bought aspect. I find that Dawn dish soap, I use this a lot in cleaning. Not necessarily a lot of it, but I use it to clean a lot of things. This is my homemade bathtub cleaner, and I have an old Dawn dish soap bottle that I just kept, and I use that. And basically all this is equal parts of vinegar and Dawn dish soap. What I love about this is that, you know, you pour it into, I use a funnel, measure it out, I pour it into the bottle, and then I gently, you know, do this. The vinegar will keep it from over-sudsing and allow you to mix it. Of course, it will create a few suds, but what I love about this is that it reminds me of the cleaners that you squeeze on and they stick to your tub, because because of the Dawn dish soap, it will stick to the tub. And I take a sponge, and the combination of these two ingredients cleans my bathtub so sparkling clean. I absolutely love it. So that is one that I make on my own. I've shared this with you guys in the past too. These are my homemade cleaning wipes. I love them. I just use them, and when I'm done, I rewash them, and I throw them back in here. When the water starts to run out, or the liquid, I just throw in. I'm trying to open this one up. There we go. These are my little wipes. So these are, you know, I wipe down the kitchen counter. I wipe down the bathroom sink with them. They do a great job. And in here, when I made the original video, I gave you measurements because I had found that online, but now I just throw in a little bit of water, throw in a few tablespoons of my vinegar, a couple drops of Dawn dish soap. I, mix it all up again, make sure all of these are, in some sort of liquid, and they're good to go again. So, I absolutely love these. I use them all the time. This is a spray bottle that has a little bit of orange vinegar in it and water. So when I make my orange vinegar, I basically put orange peels into a canning jar, fill it with vinegar, put the lid on, and I let that sit for a few weeks. and then strain out the orange peels, and I use that vinegar in here. So I throw in maybe a couple tablespoons and then put water in here. And I use this to clean bathroom sinks, to clean, around the floor, around the toilet, spots on the floor, on the countertops, any place you would need an all-purpose cleaner. And the last thing that I still buy, because I honestly haven't found anything I like better, is I still buy Comet. It's cheap and it does the job. And the only place that I use Comet anymore is to clean the toilet bowl. And, I just can't find anything that does a job as good as Comet. Okay, so there is my basics, and I really feel like I have found that sweet spot of not spending a lot of time making cleaners and not spending a lot of money on already made cleaners, being able to use a bigger proportion of natural cleaners, natural products, and things like that. And I feel like this is kind of like, this is what works for me. And I really am, I've been happy with the results. I think that's the other thing, is that a lot of times we try to do these homemade things, and what we end up finding is that they don't work that well. And then we lose interest, and we go back and we, go back to the store and we do that, buy them again because, you found something that works. So I think the biggest secret when it comes to doing these things is to find products, or find recipes, or find methods that actually work for you. The other thing that I don't have here that I do use sometimes is ammonia. I use it sparingly, but there are occasions where I find ammonia to be a really good cleaner. It cleans like grease. If you have fans like that covers that, like on a vent fan over your stove, or fans, in your bathroom or any place else that just get built up with moisture, dust, grease from the kitchen or whatever, soak those in a little bit of ammonia and water, and you will be amazed. The other thing that I've done with ammonia is my oven. Because I don't have a self-cleaning oven, I find that just putting soaking a washcloth or a towel or something in ammonia water, and then laying that on the bottom of your stove, leaving it overnight, usually cuts out any spilled on gunk that might still be there. So, and those are the two uses I can think of right now that I use ammonia for. All of these things like baking soda, vinegar, ammonia, all of those are so cheap. And even the Comet that I buy is super cheap, like I already mentioned. So anyway, I really think that for me, that's kind of the equilibrium that I've come to. And the only thing I really spend a lot of time with is putting together the bathtub cleaner and doing a batch of the orange ammonia for the all-purpose spray. You would not have to do the oranges. I just do because I kind of like the smell, but you can also add a little bit of essential oil or fragrance oil or something like that. I would be curious to know what you guys use, and what have you found that works for you, either homemade, or do you still use a lot of items from the store, already made cleaners? What is your method? So I'd be curious to know that. All right, you guys, my pizza dough should probably soon be here, ready for me to punch down and move forward on that. And I really appreciate you guys being here with me this morning and having a cup of coffee with me. And yeah, you can all say a thanks to God that my grandson, nothing serious happened and he's doing fine right now. So I'm definitely saying a praise on that one. Oh, and I don't want to forget, before I end this video, that if you give me a like, a thumbs up, that really helps. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and you like my content, would you consider subscribing? I appreciate that. I'm pushing towards 6,000 subscribers, which is like, yay. That makes me feel really happy. I really value each and every one of you, and I appreciate you all more than you know. Anyway, okay, you guys, I think that'll wrap up today's Coffee with Crystal, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Alrighty, bye-bye.